We are live. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Cashflow Digital, where we have what is a MiniNet and Wolverine, aka Brad, and we're going to be talking about link building, MiniNets, and just link building in general, because I think that's a topic we get.
Yeah, we've been hitting link building hard the past few weeks, and I feel like I feel like a lot of, pins are dropping, that they say.
Well, there was an announcement, I think it was Mueller, they were talking about links and how Google ignores links in this. And it's interesting because it just reiterates the fact, hey, what's up, Randy? Reiterates the fact of the importance of certain links. And what it comes down to is we all know, and they talk about it all the time and through like real life campaigns, is that fucking relevance is what turns on the ability of a link to be a link. Okay, so if we look at 301s, right, those will pass 100% of the page rank from one page to another. Okay, but they will not credit it at all if you're taking it. And I'm not saying this is always the case, because I love links that are relevant in a way, but essentially the way it's written, the way they talk about it is, if it's a relevant 301 to a page that's relevant, then they're going to pass up to 100% process. I'm going to do this too. Get out of me. Thank you, Holly.
I hope it's Holly, not to each other.
But so it's relevance, man. Relevance turns everything on, and that's why
it turns me on for sure.
Turns me on, dude. It buys the turkey meat, dude. Like,
hey,
straight up.
Craig, is that an olive oil bottle that you've emptied out and just put water in it?
I wish. Proper water,
like
man.
Oh, dude, it looks like extra virgin olive oil, dude.
Yeah, Craig is extra virgin today.
Volvic mineral water, natural mineral water.
Nice. Yeah. Have you seen Zac Efron has a show on Netflix, and he's with some like wellness guru that he's going around to all these different guys, or like different places in the world. And one of the shows on there is all about water, about how they suck all the good stuff out of water. So you should look for like mineral water and stuff like that, magnesium. And they had like wine connoisseurs like coming out and like pouring it like it was like wine and shit. Crazy. Way off topic, but
yeah. You know, I have never been a fan of wine except for when we were ranking for bulk wine. You know,
I like that. Yeah, I'll drink some wine.
Speaking of relevance, that's a campaign where the right link types, no matter, we're going to talk strategies again today, but the right link types, no matter what the hell we are talking about, is extremely important. Essentially, if you have the right link type, you have the relevance built in the right way, then it minimizes the need for like a large volume of links. So there's quantity and there's quality we can talk about. Man, spam does work, and we've all seen spam.
Have we talked about Triple T on this show yet?
I think maybe once, but so Triple T is trust, traffic, and theme. Okay, relevance and theme. Craig, when
a lot of people call it art, right?
Yep, art. There's other. I think Marco calls
acronyms.
It something else or something, but literally, to evaluate a link, the quality of a link, you need like one of those. More of those basically means you're doing better. The more you have of those three things, the better you're doing with that link. But really, when it comes down to it, ultimately, you want that relevance. And we can talk about relevance in a way. We discussed it a little bit, which was relevance with a poster site and a site about like cats, right? So we can make those two sites relevant creatively with content. If we talk about cat posters on one of the sites, now those two pages are completely relevant, right? So Craig, like, I know, are you building links heavily right now, or have you, I know you've done it in the past, like where are you at with your link building? I wanted to kind of find out, like, we've been talking about tactics, like what are the main tactics you're using right now? I'm assuming they're similar to us, but what are you doing, dude?
So I do a mix of everything. So I don't rely on, one particular thing like niche edits or whatever. So I've got guys in the office who do outreach through Pitchbox. I've got guys I buy from, guest posts. I power that shit up. I buy some expired domains. I've got PBNs and shit. Like all the stuff that you guys are doing, just having a nice mix of it, because I'm not solely... I'm just not a believer, and I've got friends that run guest post services, and there's nothing at all wrong with that. but I don't want to be solely reliant on guest posts or niche edits or whatever.
Do you do any tiering to your guest posts when you're posting? When you're doing that? Yeah.
100%. I mean, that's the only way, for me, that's the only way you're really going to get the juice out of it, because these guest posts have every motherfucker's stuff on it, so you need to give them something else, more than what everyone else is doing, rather than just relying on the guest post itself. So, literally under that, it's getting everything thrown at it. I probably shouldn't say that, but SAPE, whatever, I really don't care.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I know Mike used to use SAPE a shit ton, right? I never used it because I couldn't figure out. I wasn't smart enough to get into their dashboard and shit. So
you've got guys who can do that for you, though. So there's guys you can buy SAPE links for, and
the markup is insane on that stuff. Yeah, with some guys I know, or it used to be. I haven't done it. Looked in a while, but
I marked it up a lot.
Oh, I know. Yeah, yeah. No one could figure. I guess. How much of that did you sell back in the? I mean, specifically
I'd buy an exact match domain, like a .info, and do a registrar redirect, and then hit that thing with nothing but SAPE on the back end, and called it.
It worked like crazy, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it does. It did, and it does. I mean, there's still ways to utilize the same methodology with the 301s, because essentially, exactly, it's a wrapper, dude. I mean, honestly, Triple T's a wrapper.
Ice-T.
But it's that trust, traffic, and theme wrapper. And so the 301s, it comes down literally like you're building that relevance, like right there. If you have a exact match domain, okay, and you're redirecting to a page about that keyword and it's supporting keywords, well, now what you're putting behind that there is coming into a relevant page and then moving over. If you do that, you host a page and then 301 it from page to page with potentially a solid ass paraphrased. Yeah, so this is a good question that came down. SAPE does work very well. It's links wherever you get links from. It's not where you get them from. It's how you utilize what you get. Okay, and SAPE is the same as going into anything. SAPE is built in a way that allows people to get legitimate. And people think it's all hacked, and it's not. Like SAPE is not necessarily a fully hacked network. It's basically people sharing access to websites they have access to, potentially legally, potentially whatever. I'm not discrediting SAPE at all, because the links do work if you get the right stuff.
You got to get the right links. You can get some shit links through there.
What I will say is,
here's a good discussion point, Mike.
No,
I saw that. That's what I was mentioning.
So you're not a SAPist at the moment.
What's that?
You're not a SAPist at the moment.
I'm not.
He's just a masochist.
I'll use it if I have. I cannot recreate the pricing that we build with our linking with SAPE. It's too expensive, essentially.
Especially for the thing I didn't like about SAPE is it was always a monthly price tag. I would rather have, if I'm not going to own it, I would rather just have a single.
SAPE's just a marketplace. It's literally just a marketplace. You can do the same thing at SAPE that you can do by building your own sites, by buying edits somewhere. It doesn't matter where you're buying them, it's how you're buying them. And what's important is this concept of PBN trust flow. What we did, what we were selling years ago, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, was a 301 with an exact match keyword to a page, right? With links behind it that were not relevant, okay? Now, but what happens here when you have the link here?
The topical trust flow would go whoop.
Exactly. Take a page about posters, redirecting to a cat poster 301, and then that's hitting a page about cats, right? So now what you have is you have completely unrelevant coming to some relevance and then coming into more relevance, and you're just gaining relevance as you go down this tier structure.
That's still how you tier to this day, though, right?
Yes. Exactly. This is why I'm making a point, is that everything, no matter where you buy anything from, whatever tactic you are using, you're just manipulating crawl, you're manipulating relevance, and then the metrics that are using to modify the rank score. So when you understand like that tier structure, the way a bot crawls the internet, then you know essentially how you need to build links. And so when we talk about tactics, marketplaces, or anything, it doesn't matter where you're getting it. Now, the reason you buy from certain places, like the reason there's Gary out there, is so you can go to a nice marketplace, or if you have a nice provider, if you
higher quality, someone that you can trust. Yeah,
that's why you go to certain marketplaces. It's not because the links are necessarily different. It's because the people are taking care of you.
Yeah, like the problem with Fiverr, if you get it on there, you don't know who you're buying from a lot of the time. So you have to test. If you test and that works, then keep using them. If you test and it doesn't work, then probably don't use them anymore. Mike, one link right or thousands?
So this is what I said about, this is exactly what I was referencing, was the article and the hangout that we're talking about now. Is a relevant link with metrics is going to perform better than something that they're going to ignore. Now, in your marketplace, if you find where that threshold is, what they're ignoring and what they're not ignoring, what they're flowing and what they're flowing, you can create the same effect with more as versus less. It actually sometimes becomes way more expensive to spam 1,000 links than it is to build a few links that are going to work based on how you've worked your on-page optimization.
Right. So, and I like to stay below threshold. So I would rather, if I can, I would rather build fewer links as opposed to, thousands.
Directly to page, absolutely no question. Now, if you're coming in and you're hitting a site with thousands of links on multiple pages and say,
well, yeah, then you've got that multiplying factor if you're tiering
exactly.
too. Yeah.
So there's just different ways to go about your link spam, and link spam does work. It just is a matter of your market and how you are building your sites. If I have a 3-page site, you're very rarely going to find me throwing 1,000 links at 3 pages.
And also there's a point here too, since you mentioned tiering, what does that one link have behind it? It could have thousands of links behind that that are solid. No, it can have all the internal links going to that one page that then links out to your site. And yes, that's gonna push. We ranked page 2 for stun guns in a week? Something like that with one link.
Yeah, we did. So like we mentioned last week, dude, it was $100,000 campaign. Guy comes to us with, hey, I've got to make this rank in a week or two. It took
it was in the 90s as far as the SERP goes. So it was like 92, 90, page 9 essentially, 92, 93, somewhere in there. I don't want to lie, 98. But yeah, it shot up to I think it was bouncing between 12 and 15 spot.
Yeah,
with the one link. So
exactly, and it will do that, and that's why the quality of the link is important when it comes in. So that addiction site was completely different. That was not done with traditional linking. Know exactly what they did, and a very different campaign than what we're talking about right now. And right here, it really depends. So you can grab a relevant link, and this is the point of that 301. You grab that low authority relevant link, and if you come behind it with whatever you need to come behind it metric-wise for that page, then all of a sudden you're filtering the metrics you need to move that needle onto that page. So personally, I would take both of them, depending on the budget, but because I know that both of them will move the site. So
I would, if I had to pick one or the other, I would probably pick the relevant one. And just like when we were talking about finding, finding network sites back a month or two ago, if I have 5 to 10 relevant, extremely relevant links that I can't get otherwise, already existing on the domain, I'm going to set that one up, and I can always add more power in behind it through tiering. So I would probably, if I had to pick one, go with the relevance.
That would be relevant. No one says that obviously high authority are all third-party metrics and stuff anyway. So I would always just lean towards future-proofing your business anyway, and just going for super relevant, because I think
that's the point.
The people who go for high authority but less relevant are probably likely in the future to have some of those links devalued, I would imagine.
It's much more likely, and what it comes down to, if higher authority, less relevant, I would be looking at it from more of a conversion standpoint. There's potentially more traffic on the higher authority site, and there's other things you can do with those metrics. So I love relevance, because relevance means conversion no matter what. Like, it always means conversion, because you have to think about that relevant page, even though it might be less authority, it might not be as high of authority. But what if that page is actually ranking for like 30, 40 relevant terms versus the high authority ranking for 3 relevant terms? you got to think about how this flow works, and you really want to bring in the most relevance to the page. And those ranking terms are going to be, those are essentially links from Google to the page that's linking to you and down the line. So it's extremely important.
That's cash flow too, if you've got it set up and optimized for conversion.
And that's the point, is that everything that you're doing with your ranking, you should also be using to leverage revenue generation as well. So it's like PBNs. Someone asked about PBNs last week, and PBNs are, we call them MiniNets. They're the same thing. It's essentially you're creating pages that you control. I'm assuming
we might or might not have something pretty cool for everyone at the end of this too. So,
yeah, no, we will.
Regarding MiniNets.
And the thing about it is that with a PBN, so like about 2 years ago, we started a campaign in finance, and we put up, I think it was around 2,500 sites. Those sites were they were link sites, they were traffic generation, they were conversion-based sites. That campaign generated the more money than I've generated in a single campaign ever. I mean, it led to
especially considering we were starting from scratch.
Yes, and it led to an 8-digit phone call, like in a like the highest single phone call that I've ever seen come through a GMB. It led to huge numbers, and it was all due to the fact that we leverage PBNs in the way that we use it for our link building, but also keeping in mind that if we're going to put that domain up, and we know that we can make every link type we want from that domain, well, why won't we be monetizing that domain as well, right? So and the nice thing about PBNs and the tactic there in MiniNets is that when you do that, not only are you building it, say, for your campaign that you're working on, but when you take this approach of generating revenue in your own campaigns, you now have access to links for client work that are better than any link you can go out and purchase, because it is a site that has been done correctly, and it is actually generating revenue. And now it's sending links to people that you're generating revenue with. They're generating revenue. You're pulling in funds as well. So to me, it still kind of maintains the highest level of respect and link building. To me, it's the same thing as going out and grabbing a site on SAPE. It's grabbing a site from an edits provider. It's a pre-index page that I can put my link on. And that is the best single link.
That's getting traffic that's themed out and that has trust, because it's ranking and it's got links going to it.
So how much PBN work have you done, Craig? Have you done a bunch in the past, or is it something
Tons of them.
Yeah.
PBNs were really one of my big things back in the day. And for me, before I even started doing PBNs, I used to be quite big on buying up exact match domains and doing rank and rent. So I kind of was building PBNs unaware that I was building PBNs. I was just, I'm pretty sure you're probably in the same boat, because you come from the same kind of era where, exact match domains were working really fucking well. I had a call from like a plumber in Glasgow, and I'd be like, oh shit, right, yeah. He would talk some crap about, paying me a couple $100, but my mind would be going bang, bang. And I was checking out plumber Glasgow, plumber Edinburgh, plumber Aberdeen, and all over, Scotland and the UK. And, I had this horrible, and again, you guys will have done it. I bought literally thousands of domains, like drunk and shit like that at night, buying all these domain names. And 80% of them, I never actually put a website on them. I never get round to putting websites on them. 20% I did do the rank and rent model, and they all ranked really well and all that kind of stuff, got a lot of traffic, and just used to rent them out to guys for like $300 and stuff like that per month. Never really done any kind of tracking and stuff. And then from there, PBNs were a thing. And even to this day, as I say, I would much rather, I don't really like to call them PBNs, because I also see them as like affiliate sites, like they're either Amazon or AdSense or something they are, or like a booking.com affiliate or whatever. So to give you an example, I've got a booking.com affiliate. It's called VonEssenHotels.co.uk. Now, this guy was a high profile guy. He had £250 million worth of hotels. He's got a Wikipedia page and everything, and he just let his domain name fucking drop. So when you see something like that, that's got all, and he had all this PR because he sold these hotels for 250 million quid. So he had all that PR and everything else, and I'm like, man, I'm grabbing that bad boy. And you
did you get it at an auction or was it expired somewhere?
That one was actually expired, and I couldn't believe it.
I hated the auctions back in the day.
It wasn't. Yeah. I bought it for £100 off a guy, a drop catcher. But I have caught a few that have dropped it. I've caught a few good ones that actually have dropped it. Very few times is that the case. Normally, always a drop catcher will come to you with a list and say, right, I know you're interested in some hotel shit. So I just build that out, make it a booking.com affiliate website. What I was also doing with that was I was getting YouTube videos and just getting them transcribed into blog content, banging them out because lots of people do hotel reviews and they were ranking really well. So someone just edited that shit, put some header tags and everything, and that worked really well. So I built loads of PBNs, but I'm not doing them as the PBN, just stuff it up and let it die. No adding content. That is where people who are crazy and have too little time and they've got thousands of them. I've always probably had like 500 PBNs that actually do something and they do get some form of traffic. So that's what I call a PBN. It's probably not.
Well, here's what I want to clarify. PBNs that you throw up and that just sit there and you're just having them sit there, there is decay. We've talked about the link graph.
Massive decay, yeah.
There's huge decay if you just throw a site up and you just go about this. Not to mention the issues with hosting, the issues like someone coming in that is new and not knowing what to do. There's a lot that can go freaking wrong with building sites for your link building processes and for money generation. Now, the thing is when you do this correctly and you scale this, everything is continuing to update. It's continuing to rank. And this is key. If you are ranking in your PBNs, then you are not decaying. You are doing it right. And this is what we differentiate between like a PBN traditional and a MiniNet, is that you're not losing power on your sites. Now, a lot of people still build them in a way where I see them just decay. I watch competitors and they lose ranking over time because they've thrown up a PBN. They're just trying to do that and then they walk away from it. Now, I'm not saying you have to be on your dang PBN every day updating and doing all this stuff. There's smart ways to go about it. But you definitely don't want to just throw up pages and let that shit decay. It ends up being a waste of money down the line. It might work right away, but long term, it's not going to work. Now, the way we're talking about it, literally that campaign, the financing, I think the company was like 7, 8, 10 million. The financing was like 1.2 billion that it generated. That was 2,500 PBN websites that did that, right? Now, that's on a huge scale, like large build out, spending tons of money, buying links, everything with these PBNs as the center, making everything work, right?
Having entity built around each one. We were going balls out.
And there's levels of that you can do, and you don't have to go all the way, but there are certain things that you want to do at a bare minimum to make them work for you. And
just the tip. And
anyone, honestly, that is doing, it's important to like break the idea of like black hat versus white hat here, because if you take this to the level that we're talking about, you're no longer building a PBN. You're not just doing SEO. Like, you're making a publishing network, essentially, that is now building, like, it has SEO benefit. It has revenue benefit. It's just a portfolio of sites in that case. And you're not just out there, like, necessarily throwing up a ton of freaking stuff that's just sitting out there. Like, it's a kind of a mindset shift that people can have to where, shoot, I'm just a publisher. I'm not an SEO spamming out there. I'm literally running a business, right? Now, I will say that the easiest, the most effective way to build links is to actually have your PBN. And it's funny because I was looking at an article that was talking about if PBNs are worth it. And it says PBNs are too expensive to build. The whole process of building a PBN is a waste of time. The ROI.
You can actually build them from scratch. So I don't see how, like, in the traditional sense, if you're going to auctions and stuff. But one of the highest volume terms that I ever ranked for was the term penny board, which is those little plastic skateboards, like the beach skateboards you could throw in your backpack. I just looked it up. There's a shitty version of it on Wayback Machine. But anyone that wants to look it up, pennyboardmayhem.com. So I got a PMD. So the main keyword that I wanted to rank for was penny board. I built out some content. I had Mike's Mike's old plugin on it, which is vCracken, and it was pumping out just YouTube videos and pulling in the description. I put some like a few articles on there that were from what was that one back in the day? You could get like dirt cheap articles, but they were shit.
iWriter.
Yeah, that's it. iWriter. I put some iWriter articles on there for relevance. I kind of siloed it out real quick, but just used the internal pages were all YouTube videos and shit, but it built relevance. And one link to an Amazon listing, which that was what the client wanted to rank, and they were ranking for penny boards, 160,000 searches a month at the time. I don't know what it is now. So if you look it up and you're like, shit, hang on.
You jumped, bro.
That scared the shit out of me.
Dude, that was hilarious. There is Nickelback. Yeah, I like that question. So what I would do is I would go and find the most quality, and then the second tier quality in that profile. And I
got too many fucking burner phones. But
go ahead. I'll let Brad finish and come back to this.
But yeah, if anyone that wants to look at this, this is how you can build one from scratch. So I did this. I had social signals going to it, and that's about it. I think I backed it up with. I would have to look at the backlink profile, but I can't remember doing much linking at all. But you can easily build out a network if you've got a smaller client. You just want to build out like 4 or 5 of these. You can rank them. So, and you can pull in traffic. I didn't really have another way to monetize this, but I mean, theoretically, I could have put like Amazon links and shit on it. But yeah, this was a national keyword. So
we'll do Nickelbacks, and then we'll address another one that came
Nickelback, worst early 2000s band of all time.
Right. If your site site page say has 50% more links than its competitors that are ranking above it, what would be a good approach to gaining the top spot, assuming on page is good? So this is like what John Mueller was talking about, what the earlier question was. I can't assume, and I'm not saying this is for sure, but a good 50% of that is being ignored by Google. Like they're literally ignoring those links because of one thing or another, like lack of relevance or something like that. Now, the way to go about this, in my opinion, is not to put more links at this page. It's to go and analyze the link profile and come underneath the link profile with the proper like tiered structure, right? So you're going to be coming under, just like the 301 that redirects over with the links being pointed behind it. You're going to come under every link that you have, and you're going to go ahead and build there. Now, you might have things going on with like other issues that you're not aware of, but in general, this is the first thing I would tell anyone to do, is to enhance the profile you already have instead of starting to throw that ratio off. Because if you're already there on that page and they're just above you, you're doing it right. You just need to kind of give it that extra kick in the ass. And that does not mean to the page directly. It means that you need a popularity contest for the pages that are talking about you, essentially, and make them more popular. Check them out.
But also,
one way go ahead.
I was also going to say, obviously, if you're doing that and you turn around and you say, I'm also doing tiered link building, look at CTR and engagement. Try and get more of that as well. That can be the difference. If me and Mike are going toe-to-toe and we both get similar content, similar backlink profiles, we're both doing tiered link building, it's going to come down to the click-through rate and engagement, and that can
be if they're clicking back to Google from your they go to your site and click back, then that's going to have a negative impact on your
The other thing to look at is look at the pages that are pointing to your page, look at the pages that are pointing to your competitors, and take the rankings on those, see how those pages are performing. And this is why we're talking about MiniNets, dude. If you have like a link profile, this ties directly into what Craig said. Like when I say ranking, I'm talking about when there's ranking, there comes CTR, there comes all of these metrics. Now, if you want to simplify that and look at what's happening to your link profile based what's happening to the other link profile, this is the link graph. This is the rank score modifiers like CTR and all this that adjust that ranking. So there's all these metrics at every level of this tier that you can look at and optimize. And in a lot of cases with just what we mentioned here, you're going to find the answer right there just by looking.
Also, look at it from a domain level as well. Like are the people that are ranking above you, look at like their domain weight essentially. If you've got 20 links going to a site with like 3 or 4 pages on it, and you're going up against something that has like a shit ton of pages, a shit ton of links going at the domain level, to all these different pages. The domain buoyancy is going to be huge on that site, so it's going to take a lot more.
And you
from
have
that
to
perspective,
think of it like this: like you might have links like from pages 3 freaking clicks from the homepage, and they might have a link profile that's like literally in the sidebar, right? So all these metrics that Craig mentioned, stuff that Bragg's mentioning, is all enhanced by being in that sidebar in the top navigation. Like not every link is created equal. That's why it's really important to tier and everything, because you want to offset that with volume. So this goes to like what Jan was saying, where John Mueller is saying that backlinks do not matter, and that it's not true. Like anyone that says backlinks do not matter does not understand the way SEO works. They don't
understand the way the internet works, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's my point. They don't understand the internet. They don't understand what the bot does. They don't understand how Google finds things and how Google assigns scores to things. It's math. It's not brilliance. It's not like amazing AI. It is freaking math. And those things, the CTR, all that is part of the math. So like, look at what's going on around you and emulate it as best as you can through your profiles. Literally, one of the easiest ways to do it is to control your own backlinks. And that way, everything is quality. Like, it makes it simple. There's Linda had a good.
I'll get that one.
The most recent one?
Not the most recent one. It was that one, right?
Oh, there was the next one, but I didn't see that one. For safe links, here's the thing, man. I have seen safe link profiles that are so easy to pick up. Yes, there's a reason I don't like to use safe, because I still find it out there.
You still got to dig through it and make sure that it's quality.
You have to have a good provider or do it yourself, because a lot of the times there will be a footprint on sites. Yes, absolutely, Linda. The script will cause issues in a lot of cases. So that's a big problem that causes issues.
And there's the next one.
So the way it can work is it can't hurt your site is like not really a thing, because Google ignores crap. However, and you can turn it off. So there's I will say no, there's no way it's going to hurt your site, because just turn it off.
With a disclaimer, it's like, use it.
Yeah, use it with be smart about it. But yes, you can turn this off. Like a MiniNet, a PBN, you can turn that off. Like anywhere you're buying, like I control 100% of my link profile. I don't go out and put my link profile in other people's hands. That doesn't mean I don't buy them from people. That doesn't mean I don't build them in a certain way or go out and do outreach with staff or whatever. But it means that I want to be able to turn shit off if I have to, right? I don't want to be locked into a problem down the line. I think they're just, or it's 100%. This is why index pages, however you're building them, if you control them.
We don't like building orphan page links for sure.
Even if it's not an orphaned page, it's still a new page without any metrics and any traffic. So it is subpar to an existing page that's already getting crawled and having score assigned to it. 100%. Guest posts are not as effective as other types of links. They are one of the most least effective types of links you can find. Yes.
Miko back was also asking how many backlinks would hit tier 1 links. How many backlinks would you hit your tier 1 with? Typically?
I usually, okay. And also, would you disavow crappy links? I don't disavow. We'll address that first. I don't touch the disavow. It's just me, and it's just because I don't want to give them data, and I have sites that have hit the disavow file, and it tanks revenue for people, so I avoid it. But so I can't say anything to it. Craig, what about you?
Typically, I don't disavow in a lot of cases, but here is the thing: some motherfucker is smashing the shit out of my website with 1 million links a month. Now that happens.
That's a case
we've accidentally done that before.
But that happened to me about 18 months ago as well. And what happened after a period of time, I got a partial penalty. So I had no option but to disavow and clean up that crap and request, that manual penalty to go away. There's certain instances where you will have to, but
that's the only case that I would recommend it is if you're trying to get rid of a manual. Really, like the manuals are where it comes in handy, and that's been our case. Like I've had so many thousands upon manuals, and you do what you have to do to get re-included in that case for sure. And if I'm being attacked, then I don't mind if their stuff gets de-indexed or gets in trouble. I could care less at that point. They're not. What was the other part of his question? The first one, the one with the 301, the disavow file up there.
Oh,
wait. Back.
How many backlinks would you hit tier 1 with?
Usually I'm anywhere between for just off page, we're talking about like 3 to 15 at max. I don't really typically. Well, here's the thing.
15 would be probably on the high side.
It's very high, and I don't usually even go over like 5 or 6 because you're going to naturally acquire a backlink profile, and to avoid any sort of like attention, I like to control what's important, which is what's really making things move, and let the natural profile build. And that way I don't have to worry about like this thing about like someone coming about and seeing an off percentage of anchor text or some crap like this. I there's not enough there for them to ever make a case against me, you know? So I would stick to 3 to 5.
I think people are often expecting you to say something like 1,000 or something, throw all sorts at it, but it's always quality and just doing it. And
if you want a cookie cutter approach, you can go with the rule of 3s that Mike came up, which was it's 3 going to your your tier 1 profile, and then 3 behind that, and then 3 behind that. So it's 3, 9, 27 because it's 3. It just exponentially grows because
that's usually what I build is right around there is between is that ratio, which is about 30 links a page or something, but it's on 3 tiers. Or 2 tiers. So
it's probably saying 1 million links a month ain't nothing. Oh man. It's relentless, man, and they've been doing it since November. Bastards.
Yeah.
It's not really causing any problems just now, but I'm sure it will if I keep letting it go. The other guy, Tau Queer, when we redirect an expired domain to the new website before uploading any content on the new domain, is that a better strategy?
I wouldn't say it's better or worse. It's just a different strategy. I've ranked sites where I call it the lazy approach to link building because you 301 it and you're done. You know. Where the caveat is when you create a 301 to a site and it had links going to internal pages, it had you're going to create those internal pages on your site inadvertently. So you're going to need to go into, if it's WordPress, you just redirect it with a plugin back to the page that you want to push.
With any sort of redirect, like the amount of page rank that it passes is variable based on relevance to some extent. And like up to 100% can be passed. This is why when you see people talk about, it worked for me, it didn't work for me, it really comes down to the way they're redirecting things and how they're moving things around. A 1-to-1 redirect is always going to be optimal. So here's when you buy an expired domain, and this is like PBN stuff that needs to be like taken into account when you're building a network, is that you're going to have links, like Brad said, that are coming in, and you're going to create soft 404s. You're going to create 404s, things like this. When links get crawled to a page that you don't have, that you're not aware of. So what you need to do is either recreate those pages or create redirects and certain things. And that's kind of the stuff that
redirects on the money site. Yeah,
that stuff I think in the training that we're giving you guys today for free or whatever to get.
Yeah. And honestly, I call it the lazy way. I would honestly, if I have the time, I would prefer to build out the site, especially if it has links going to internal pages. I want to recreate those internal pages, and I've got even more domain buoyancy. And I've just added a site to the network, especially if it's a relevant, a niche relevant site. I want to use that, and I want to make money with that site individually. So I would prefer to set it up. And if I'm going to do a redirect, I want to do a 1-to-1 page redirect at that point. Get a page ranking. It's actually a tactic that we showed at the first event. Get a page ranking, then a page-to-page redirect to your money site.
Yeah.
And then, that pushes exceptionally well. And it works really well for clients because if they stop paying, then there go the redirects. But they're still on a page-to-page basis, so the site is still up, still getting traffic. You can still use it for other purposes.
And that comes down to in the client stuff too, is like this is why controlling just a little piece of this works, because if you're utilizing assets, in a lot of cases, there's like network type content management stuff that we use where even when a client is no longer a client, they're still in the network and they're still getting the benefit of the backlinks from everything that's been going on, and definitely continue to rank because the way of that is everything built, like it enhances everyone in that. However, like there was a question back there about wanting to build links instead of buy links. And I wanted to address that because it is one thing to go out and create a process to go out, and I call it begging links, but I'll be respectful and to go out and ask for backlinks to go out and build content and then do promotion for that. But when it gets down to it, you can make that cheaper by putting together your own network to do that. Like at some point to a certain level, you can't just be out there asking people for backlinks. Like it's like building content and like
it's like the people on the street corner with the signs, right? I hate that, and you just got to act like they're not there.
Like Google wants you to build a piece of content and just leave it on your website and not do crap. Now they're not saying you can't go out and promote, but you're essentially doing the same thing. If you go out and buy advertising, you are buying a backlink right there. They click that banner, they are coming to your website.
You're buying that traffic.
And do social media marketing. You're creating backlinks out there. You're always going out and building your own backlinks or buying your own backlinks. It's never different unless all you're doing is creating content and sending out an email saying, please link to me. And that to me is not a way to run a business. So
it's fucking hard too. I mean, is the juice worth the squeeze at that point?
Right.
Is how I look at it.
So yeah. I would change the mindset on I don't want to buy a backlink. I want to build a backlink.
You can buy cheap backlinks too, because with the MiniNet method, it's fucking cheap. Like it is one of the cheapest forms because you can use them over and over.
You get 1,000 backlinks for $10, dude.
It's like a prostitute.
Yeah.
Like literally, you can
you sell it and you still got it. You can sell it some more.
Yeah, dude.
You can make money so many times over and over again. On these,
it's ridiculous actually how it works, and when it comes down to it, it's another point. That's one of the things when you create a site, a PBN, a MiniNet. Now you have every link building type that you want, that you control, that you can create. Now this is done legitimately by major corporations, legitimately by every freaking major publishing house out there. You look at their footers; they have links that say these are the group of sites that we are a part of, and it all links out to every other site in there, dude. Everyone does this.
Yeah, our payday loan client, they were notorious for that. They said, how should we push this other payday loan site we have? It's like, do you have a link in the footer? No. I was like, we'll do it. And then there it is.
This does not harm you. Like you hear about all these penalties of like WordPress themes, all this and that. There's things that we do that are dumb sometimes and don't work, but then there's things that we do and everyone's doing it. And like building publishing networks, MiniNets, buying advertising on other sites, which is what a backlink is. It's a freaking advertisement if you buy it on another site. Literally, like some of the advertisements you buy are just a freaking backlink with an image in a sidebar, okay? Every banner ad you see is an image in a sidebar with a redirect.
If we're talking site-wide links for a second, Mike, just get your current opinion on it, because I haven't seen the question come through. What, as far as anchor text, and I know what my answer would be, what would you suggest if it's a site-wide link? So if it's a link from the header, footer, sidebar, anything like that.
I'd go for branded, dude, myself.
You go, yep, same here.
Yeah, for branded because the relevance is being created on the destination site and the site that's sending the link. Like you have the relevance there already.
We actually we cover that in the MiniNet course. It's part of the 08/10-minute tier 2 video. The 08 method is pretty badass.
It is sick, and honestly, like you can buy those same links from freaking Yahoo, dude. Like, and remember, dude,
10,000 a month. I remember that
10,000 a month for a backlink on Yahoo. Like everyone sells backlinks, dude. Everyone buys backlinks. You can buy them from search engines. Okay?
Rank for what was the term? Cheap car insurance that the gentleman was pushing was the primary term that he was pushing for. I think. So one Yahoo link pushed him up quite a bit. I can't remember how much. It didn't get him to page 1 yet.
No, it was almost there. It was like 2 or 3.
Yeah, so for cheap car insurance, which is a fucking huge, nationally for a huge term. So
one question I want to ask you guys, I know the answer anyway, but just for everyone else, in terms of hosting for your PBNs, you ever use something like Easy Blog Networks or?
I've used the shit out of Easy Blog Network. Yeah, it's
the mix.
Yeah, you got to mix it up. That's not all I would use. Like I use MicroHost, I use Easy Blog Network.
Amazon.
Yeah, AWS, you can set that up. You just got to be careful with AWS because the more traffic you have, the more you're going to get charged. So it's kind of a double-edged sword
hosting, freaking
yeah, cloak hosting. If you have your own VPN, run it through Cloudflare.
With 2,500, with 2,500, like the network we were talking about that did the 810, whatever the freak it was, that was like a mix of like 4 or 5 or 6 different hosting solutions. And you want to mix it up because nothing's perfect. Like you need to mix this. This goes into the free training and everything, but you want to mix it up like completely. You want to use a range of different things to get your ranges of IP.
You need an IP range for sure.
You really do, and you want to be smart about it. There's ways to do like reverse proxies where you're building everything on an individual server and then using small shitty free hosts or small crappy cheap hosts. Like you can, but that slows it down and you start to get into issues. So there's like certain solutions to avoid, certain solutions to use, but it's not rocket science. Like it's just like a laid out map. And once you do that, like Brad and I can put this stuff together. So it's like not that difficult to do, you know?
On your websites, on your networks, wait a minute, it's Miko back that answered that one. Asked this one: do you sell a ton of links on there, or do you just use them for your own websites?
I typically use them for my own, but if someone comes to me asking to purchase a link, I mean, I wouldn't be above it. You know,
a lot of what you're buying in the industry as niche edits, that's exactly what they are, guys and gals.
I think for me though, just to add a different approach to it, a lot of my PBNs have, I mean, I'll link out to friends and stuff. I'm not actively selling them to hundreds and thousands of people out there.
Yeah, I'm not going to put it out in a marketplace or anything. But like Rodden back in the day when he had that, what was that? It was, it wasn't a casino site, but he had gambling people wanting to buy links from him because it was about like superheroes and shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's selling it to gambling. Like for some reason, the superhero website.
It's because that was the theme of their games.
Oh yeah, it was the games. So this is relevance right there. Yeah. Okay, so this is how casinos go out and market, and we do market in these spaces. But like, I really want to make this clear about relevance. If you have casinos buying links from superhero websites to a page about a slot machine about like Wolverine over here, think about relevance that way. Relevance is easy to manipulate in many, many ways, and it works extremely well. Google Cloud Works, like it's one of the ones you can use. Like there's
Azure, Microsoft's, they all work.
Yep, everything works. Like we've used all of it. We've been the highest purchasers in the country of certain
AWS, SSL certificates.
And
what's your opinion on a bad score in page speed insights for mobile version of a website?
It's going to screw with your metrics, in my opinion. Like
if it's going to affect bounce,
your bounce rate and your metrics are going to be affected most likely if it's that slow. If it really is slow like that to a user, I would definitely address it. I mean, it's not to me.
If it's your money side, address it. If it's your network, I don't care as much.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions there. A lot of people are enjoying the PBN chat. Just seeing if there's anything we missed. Thank you very much to Holly, by the way.
Thank you, Holly. I can get some turkey meat now.
A small turkey. You can get
I couldn't afford
a game hen. Yeah.
But by the way, guys, if you're listening, Holly does have a network of news websites. Yep. You should take that stuff out, hollystarks.com. She is building stuff for you, which you can go on and do some stuff on there as well, just if you can't.
On that note, there's a lot of cool metrics that come with a news network that, like, this is something that I think is really cool. So those types of things in certain places in your tiered structure and in your link profile will have like a really big place to enhance, especially like if you are building PBNs. Like that's one of the things. Like if you're building these, like the way we're talking about, if you do go through the MiniNet training that Brad, do you want to just drop the link to everyone so they can?
MiniNettraining.com is what it is. MINI.
That's something where you can leverage stuff like what Holly is selling to enhance. Like when I'm building a PBN, one of the things that I like to do is go through the link profile and enhance all of that. So I'll be putting backlinks to links that are already pointing to the PBN. And this is a great way to go out like with something that like Holly's selling or like Young Gary is selling. You can go out and enhance the crap out of PBNs. You can build the crap out of it, make it much more beneficial. And you'll start to realize like, okay, this is actually a website. Like I can make money off of this little website that I created for a backlink over here. And oh my gosh, now I can put a backlink over here because the relevance ties in here. And all of a sudden you've spent $10 on a domain that literally now is linking to like 200 things, or it's generating a couple grand a month, or it's generating a 10, 50, 20, 30 freaking $100 a month, whatever it is. Like it's definitely ended up paying for itself multiple times over.
I mean, and ultimately think about how much, like if you're thinking about this network of sites that you're building, how much better is the SEO for your in money site going to be if you treat your network sites, your tier 1 sites, the same way that you do a money site? So you're linking to those, you're building that up, because once you're making money from them, then that provides more incentive to rank them and get more traffic to them. Like how much better is your ultimate money site up here? How much better is that going to be? You know,
yep.
It's just absolutely insane. Like if you have a drug rehab site and then you create an opioid addiction site, and you create alcohol treatment site, and you create, you know, all these different sub niche sites that you're ranking, and they're pulling in traffic, and of course they're pulling in calls, and then they all link back up to your primary money site. It's just going to make the primary money site that much better. It's going to be insane.
No, absolutely. And Paul,
this is SEO, in my opinion.
This right here, what Holly said is important. Right here, Paul, is the domain on a PBN wasted finish if it's been used as a money site domain, microsite with branding for years or can. That could be an amazing domain, dude. Like that could straight up be a freaking gold mine.
If I can find a drop domain that's like that, then it's like a wet dream, especially if it's in my niche. You know,
I have microsites that worked for campaigns for large major companies that everyone would know. Like they drive their cars, they drink their alcohol, whatever.
Not at the same time.
Not at the same time.
That'll get you in trouble. Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, those domains are still performing like gangbusters for years, a decade plus, just sucking traffic down, making revenue, dude. After selling it for like 30 grand, you know, and then they're done with it.
Yeah. I mean, if I have a branded site and it's somewhat niche relevant, what I want to start doing is, and I want to start using it as a MiniNet / PBN, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to start adding relevant content to it. Is that
I was trying to put a little hat on, dude, and it fell off, dude. It's a bait.
But yeah, I'm going to start adding relevant content, and then get that going on there, and then you've got
for the same money site, but you've just absolutely. Even if it's for the same money site, here's the thing: a lot of people get into a trap. Like I've caught people that we've worked with, like, hey, look what we did. We created this network for linking, and it's like, oh, dude, really? You all have it all hosted on the same server without any privacy protection. And okay, so let's shift bases a little bit and use it a different way, and then come in. That still keeps crawling. Like, where's to utilize it? But now you're not going to want to use that for thousands of links to the same website or anything like that. So you can recover it. And like Q&A here, if you get in that free training, go ahead and ask us. We'll do some Q&A on that here. We'll do some Q&A on that wherever you need it. Like, there's so many ways to utilize it. Like, if you're doing lead gen, if you're doing PBNs, or rank and rent, if you're doing client work, like it all ties into the same thing. Like you can use the same sites for so many projects. It's extremely important. You have do AC repair, you post on AC repair PBN, it's going to be 10 times more powerful than a general PBN. But 100%.
Also with the MiniNet structure, you can think about getting specific GMBs for those MiniNets as well, because what better way to make money in PPL than a GMB, in my opinion?
You literally, like, everything that we do with our creation of these properties is tied around, for us, GMB. Like always, GMB. GMB makes link profiles better. GMB makes more money. GMB is like, thank you, Google. Like, you've built my house. You've freaking bought my cars. I appreciate it, right? It's a great platform, and it helps people too. So Cloudflare is a great way to go, but
it's a percentage thing. 10 to 20 is irrelevant to me. It's based on a percentage. Mike, what percentage would you say could be Cloudflare.
I've done it with 100%. I just don't recommend it because here's the thing: if it's actually getting natural link profile, then like the links that you build could be 100% because you have a natural link profile. It's
because they have other links.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So it's relevant. I would not go anywhere like 100% of my profile. I would stay down 10, 20%. Freaking be smart about it. But with Cloudflare, you got to be careful. There's huge leaks. Like if you don't set it up right, I can find your network. Google can. If I can find your network, Google can find your network. I find people's networks.
You want to keep it with as few of not C names, but few records as possible in there. So delete everything, but like C name and then a record.
Hell, or else you start to leak. And
that's when you start to leak. Yeah.
Cloudflare, it doesn't leak. So Jan's in there. Should we use Gmail for buying links? Google absolutely reads your emails. Like read the TOS.
I typically do not use a Gmail for like my name.
Personally, that have had websites manual because of Gmail. Be smart about where you're doing your communication on everything.
Use a domain-based email. Then no one's looking at it.
On that note, Gmail links are not bad things to get either, though. So, like, if we know they're monitoring it, we know that they're looking at it and they're counting. Like, traffic from your Gmail account is amazing, dude. So, like, keep your brain thinking when it comes to these links and money.
Don't use Gmail for anything.
I would say that's not true at all. Like, don't use it and get yourself in trouble, and use it because transparency is freaking.
Sometimes when I'm building out a network of GMBs, I want Google to see that. So I'll go in and I'll make it look like I'm as legit as possible, and that's how I do it. It's one way of doing it. So it depends on what you're trying to do. In my
Cloudflare absolutely has to be always checked up on. You need a bot to monitor. You need.
What was it? CrimeFlare?
It's CrimeFlare. You need to check out CrimeFlare. You need to take a look at. You need to make sure that you are paying attention to what's leaking about that if you're utilizing that to keep yourself safe.
And I try and utilize different Cloudflare accounts as well. That way at least your DNS is different.
I mean, when we were building lots, it was 1-to-1, dude, almost,
Yeah. When we were doing tons of lead gadget too, I would always max out the lead gadget account. Like they allowed for 10. But
here's the thing about leaks. Like even when you register private registration, there's leaks. Like there's a time where Google being a registrar can see through your private registration. Like you can't live in fear. Like they can get you if they want to get you. The good thing is they don't want to get us all the time.
You can use. I would create a bot if you have massive networks.
You can automate anything easily in our industry.
Yeah, set up. Have a bot that goes out and scans everything and sends you either a report or notifications based on if they find anything. So
yeah, this is how networks. If utilizing this now. They're usually 1-to-1 for us. In the past, I would max them out and put 10 on the site, but then it's not any extra risk because like those are being registered at the same time. So like keyword.com a.com or keyword a.com, keyword b.com was the method.
Drug rehab A, drug rehab B, drug rehab C.
And we just roll through that, register all of that in chunks with the bot, and then come through and do the bot on the Cloudflare and then put everything up. But that's stuff that not using those same techniques anymore, just because there's leaks and things certain places now.
As far as because people ask about the updated GMB methods, as far as I know, none that are easy are going on right now. So
there's always methods. It's just a matter of ROI and things like this.
Yeah.
Also, before we forget, I just want to remind people of this free giveaway because we kind of skimmed over it earlier on the MiniNet, whatever it was. Let me get it. MiniNettraining.com. What is in there, guys?
Go ahead, Brad.
Well, it's basically the method that we use that we kind of unveiled at our first live event where we showed everyone, step by step how to do it. It's how to set up your network of sites the way that we do it. How to create your own, we can call it a PBN network, we can call it a niche edit network, but it's that. And then we've got a few bonuses in there. Of course, it's all free, but we've got a few extras in there as well that kind of delve more into how we set it up, how to power up a MiniNet properly, how to do the proper tiering to it as well. But yeah, it's everything that we use in our MiniNet structure. Like Mike said, in the financial industry, we built up a huge MiniNet. We got paid one of the largest personal lender loans. We actually got paid $50,000 a month to build out their network in this same fashion. So just shows start to finish how we do it, and then a few extras at the end of the course. So I think it's like between 15 and 20 videos, somewhere in there. But Mike and I feverishly pulled together everything in the last week since he announced it, and put it together for everyone.
So guys, yeah, completely free. Go over there, minинettraining.com. Holly's asking, are you guys planning on having another live event?
We might. We haven't discussed it recently. We would like to have an event that where people can actually go to it. But at some point we will, I'm sure. So
most likely we will, and we'll probably do so. We might do if travel's still hard for everybody, we might do something online with Craig or something sometime. I might twist his arm to do it. So
yeah, we'd have to get Craig to agree to that, though.
Yeah, I agree to anything, mate. Anything.
Yes, you do. That's
I had a girlfriend like that one time. It was awesome.
Last question from Jan. When you register your domains, are you using different payment methods, fake whois details, and how do you go about paying?
Here's the thing. Being in a lot of industries where fake payment method is really important, like I can walk people through how to do all of that, but no, I don't take those steps in a lot of things unless it gets into something.
No, I usually just use sensitive. Namecheap, private whois. I mean,
and so yeah, I think that it's answered in the training, but at this point I would tell you I don't even worry about it. Like, it's just not that big of a deal. Yes, they can get down to the level where they're seeing individual cards under the same business for different employees.
If they want to figure it out, they can figure it out.
Yeah, they can get into that and find it, even through like financial data. Like, I've done this in a lot of cases and I've seen what they can see. And even if you've got like 30 freaking credit cards under a single business, under different names in the bank, they still can figure this out. And they still will find that out if they really want to. They don't go to those methods a lot, dude. Then they won't do it in this case, almost 100% of the time.
It's the juice worth the squeeze for them at that point. You know, they got to do what maximizes profits. Like
at the end of the day, you're still putting content on their website that they're using to make money with.
I mean, like a thing I learned when I was looking into, I didn't do a ton of AdSense back in the day, but a thing I learned when I was looking into it was if they think they're going to have a down quarter or a bad earnings report,
that's when
what they'll do, that's when they skim and they'll shut down a bunch of AdSense accounts. That's when they go out and they find the illegitimate AdSense accounts.
And that's when they start looking at networks.
Close them down, and then they get to keep 100% of that monthly revenue.
Yeah. So that's when they start doing it, is when they're having bad years, bad quarters.
Bad years, or when they want to sculpt the end behavior of the user, like when they're doing a dashboard update, or they're coming out with a Google Guarantee program or something like that. That's when you're kind of going to get screwed a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
You just
like, guys, do check minинettraining.com anyway, because we are at 6:05.
Yeah, we can do a Q&A like next week or the week after.
Yeah, and just hit us up through there. You'll be able to contact people if you have questions. So we'll ask.
Everyone come back next week and just get Q&As going, and go away, check out the training, see what's there, and come back.
This is SEO. That's what I kept telling Mike. Like, when we were putting it together, I was like, dude, this is fucking SEO. You know, this is how it's done.
Yeah. So check it out, guys. Completely free, nothing to lose. But yeah, we'll be back at the same time next week, everyone, for the question and answers and probably more PBN chat. But yeah, enjoy your free gift from the guys. Thank you very much for giving away.
Yeah, it's a thank you for everyone that hops on here and listens to us blab about SEO.
Cool, guys. Thank you, everyone. Make sure you do give the channel a like and subscribe, and we will see you next week. Cheers.